everyone is discussing how much Terminator Dark Fate is failing at the box office. I rather talk about all the other Terminator films with you. Thank you for joining me. I am Peter A. DeLuca. Welcome to my podcast. We are rocking and rolling right here, right now for episode 254. That's right. We got 254 of these below us. If you scroll through the feed, we're doing Terminator T2 3D Battle Across Time. Now, this is largely forgotten. A lot of people gloss this over when they do their Terminator retrospectives, when they do their Terminator analysis, when they even discuss Terminator. They go T2 Judgment Day right to T3, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. They skip this over, and it's odd. And I'm going to get into why it's weird and to why this is very important. Maybe the most important Terminator project since Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Let's get to it. March 31st, 2001. That is when this ride interactive live action 3D experience opened at the parks. That's right. This is a theme park ride. This is a theme park experience. Now, it's closing in 2020. It's getting replaced. It's already been replaced in California. It's getting replaced in Florida. So, why does this upset me a little? This upsets me a tad because we have James Cameron, we have Linda Hamilton, we have Eddie Furlong, we have the one and only Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we have Stan Winston, and we have Digital Domain. That's James Cameron's special effects house. We even have Robert Patrick coming back as the T-1000. As highlighted in the previous episode, we have everyone from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now, what is this? What exactly is T2 3D? Well, there was Terminator 2 Judgment Day released as a 3D conversion, a 3D film. This is not that. This is as described by James Cameron, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here. This was a bridge project, a bridge movie, a bridge story, a bridge narrative between Terminator 2 and Terminator 3. Right. James Cameron was fully intending to expand on Terminator 2 Judgment Day, closing the gap, right? And I believe the story, and there's not much to find out about what his intent was for Terminator 3, like exactly what he wanted to do. I tried digging around. I couldn't find too much. This might be further research for me. I might do, maybe if I dig up anything good, I might just do a follow-up episode down the road. But essentially the story is that because we're in this interactive environment, the whole idea is that we're going to like a Cyberdyne system. Cyberdyne system is the company that creates Skynet, but we go to like this presentation, and then John Connor and Sarah Connor hijack the presentation to blow it up because that's what they do. And along the way, we have another T-1000 that comes from the future into the present, and that creates this time warp, and that transports John Connor and Arnold Schwarzenegger into the future, and now we have a Future Wars Terminator segment. Maybe the greatest Terminator Future Wars segment. I would say next to Genesis, because I really like the beginning of Terminator Genesis. That is the Future Wars, purple lasers and all. So now we have John Connor and this Schwarzenegger good guy T-800, and there's no backstory on exactly how the T-800 is back or whatever. But clearly James Cameron has an idea to put our three characters into the future, fully taking on Skynet, and that's the plot. The whole plot of this little, like 15-minute short, we'll call it 15-minute short film that cost maybe like $70 million to make. It's one of the most, according to Wikipedia, it's one of the most expensive per minute features ever, which is amazing. But they're raiding Skynet, they're raiding Cyberdyne Systems to blow it up yet again. And along the way, they encounter these robotic drones deployed from a hunter-killer. Totally cool, never reused. Not that I know of. I'm not. I could be mistaken. They could have used a version of them in Terminator Salvation. That's one of the things that makes Terminator Salvation so much fun. Is there's so many different versions of these robots. Like iterations and worm-like ones and eel ones and motorcycle ones. That's one of the pure stretches of fun that Terminator Salvation has. So they get attacked by these drones. It works perfectly for 3D. And then when they go into Skynet, so we actually see Skynet in this. We see the headquarters. We see the logo, the Cyberdyne logo, which is Skynet HQ, which is just this giant pyramid. It looks very much like, I think his name's Lord Dredd from Captain Power, like his home base. But it's kind of looking a little bit too like Blade Runner. And along the way, they get there, they're going to blow it up. They encounter the T-1000. And the T-1000 now is this concept that the T-1000 can merge. So it's this giant liquid spider-like monster. And they blow it up. And that is T2 3D. And it ends with this shot of the chrome skull that kind of says, like, the future is what we make. Now, when we look at this and we compare it to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, we have this idea of a story that got closed, right? Terminator 2 Judgment Day closes all the gaps. It makes it impossible to make a proper third film. But what if, here we go, fanboy, fanfic, but what if Terminator 3, the one James Cameron was intending to make at one point before everything went to hell with the rights and who was doing what and scheduling, that John Connor and whoever else would go with him, but the John Connor that destroys Skynet is a John Connor from the past and not from the future present. See, and that adds to the loop here. And this is a piece of the loop we weren't aware of, and it kind of goes back to some of the Terminator 1984 ideas of who exactly is John Connor in the future in Terminator 1984. I think this and the possibility of what T3 could have been lends itself to, we're only witnessing a closing. In Terminator 2, we're only closing a gap of one possible loop within this Terminator branch, the roots of time, so to speak, or the wave of time. So, I don't know. I just got done doing like a deep dive. I normally don't say this. I normally don't promote it. I really recommend looking this up on YouTube. There is a making of. If you do Terminator 2 Battle Across Time, you get a making of, and then you can actually get the full experience, which is on, I think, Attraction Magazine. It's a YouTube channel. Attraction Magazine has everything's high quality. And you can kind of see how much fun going to this theme park attraction is. And with the making of, we get some solid insight into Cameron's intention with this and what he wanted to do. And Cameron just didn't hand off the franchise and the rights and the blessing for someone to do something with. He took control of T2 3D for a reason, because he wanted to bring back Schwarzenegger. He wanted to keep Schwarzenegger in the mind's eye, in the lexicon. Same with Eddie Furlong. He didn't want people to forget about Terminator while he was gearing up for Terminator 3. And I think supposedly True Lies was maybe like a bridge movie, so they can kind of still, him and Schwarzenegger can kind of keep the blood flowing. And I kind of want to say Schwarzenegger's political aspirations is what derailed T3. Which, I hate to say it, if I was Cameron, I would have just put someone else in the movie. I think what Cameron potentially wanted to do with T3, he would only need Eddie Furlong. And I know that is blasphemous, but hey, we kind of have a solid Terminator movie with Al Schwarzenegger starring John Connor, and that's Terminator Salvation. We're going to get to that later. Episode, I think 256 will have Terminator Salvation, and then after that we'll do the Terminator web series. But yeah, so check this out, look it up. Let me know where you are with this. Am I the only one that kind of feels that this does explain a little bit of and defines the loop between Terminator 1 and 2, and also leaves it completely wide open that there's these other loops, these other time threads that could get closed up, and which I think adds volume to Terminator Genesis. It adds validity to that movie. Maybe that's what, again, the coolest thing about the Terminator movies from here on out, every single one of them, T3, Terminator Salvation, Terminator Genesis, and I'll say Terminator Dark Fate, were all intended to be like new trilogies and have a run of sequels. And since T2 Judgment Day, you can kind of consider this too. I mean, since T2 Judgment Day, we have nothing but great episode ones. We've had great starts to some of these trilogies, and we've never seen what some of the filmmakers and storytellers were setting up. And I think that's what also makes Terminator fascinating. Find me on social media. It's AKAPAD on Twitter. I'm always there. I'm always available. AKAPAD13 on Instagram. If you want like a lot of clips of what I do here, and just get like a glimpse of the AKAPAD Audio Audacity library, hit me up on Instagram, because I post 3 clips per episode. And find me on YouTube, AKAPAD. Let's rock and roll. Until next time, until T2, Rise of the Machines. This is Terminator 2, The Future Wars. No. Battle Across Time. Future Wars was the Kenner toy line, which I'm so convinced that was going to be the name of the next movie, or something close to it. Okay, everyone, rock and roll. I love you, and let's do this.